Well, I got one more that's from kind of the newer movies.
Oh, I got an old one, but anyway, go on.
Well, I know, but I kind of separated them into, hey, here's some newer ones and here's some old ones. So I got one more, and again, this may be in the search for, hey, I bet you haven't seen this before. Maybe not so much horror, and again, I would know some people that would be really scared if they had seen it. But it's definitely more science fiction, but it definitely has some creepy elements to it, and that's going to be Time Trap.
Oh, yes!
Where do we? So you
on
saw
Netflix.
This,
I saw this on Netflix,
okay.
and I told you that it was interesting. It's worth a watch.
So again, really more of a science fiction based thing, but the basic premise is you've got this archaeologist that goes out and he's trying to. You don't actually know it at first, but his parents disappeared in the 70s, I believe.
Yeah, sometime in the flower power thing with the hippie vans and all that.
So they disappeared somewhere, and he's been trying to track them down. He goes out into this cave, and then he disappears himself, but he's got a couple of grad students that are working underneath him, and they get together with some, well, one of them has to bring her little sister along. Or I can't remember, maybe it was they needed a ride, so they got another girl to come. But she can only go if the little sister came.
Because she was babysitting, naturally.
But the little sister wanted her friend to come.
Naturally.
Who was named Furby for some reason.
Yeah, I didn't get that. Anyway.
But, so what you end up with is you end up with this group of kids going out on this adventure to try to find the missing archaeologist. Mm-hmm. So, to me, this was very reminiscent of, again, like something like the Goonies or something. Because you've got those kids on an adventure. But it was done really well. Again, like I think The Goonies was.
For being what felt like a very low-budget movie, yes. It was done very well.
I was going to get to that point, that it was definitely a low-budget movie. But the acting and the characterizations of the characters and what they played, I thought they did it very, very well. And, of course, it's called Time Trap. So you come to find out that walking into this cave, there's some kind of bubble or time sphere or something that's messing with time. Mm-hmm. So maybe the people are dead, maybe they aren't dead, but you kind of follow the kids, and you keep getting glimpses of different people, because again, the guy's parents had disappeared in here, and the archaeologist's parents are, and then the archaeologist disappeared, and then the kids are now in there. Well, are they still alive? Did we wait too long? How much time has progressed? And gonna be honest, some of the I love time distortion and time travel in movies. Some of the timey-wimey stuff is a little bit off.
It's hit or miss. I either love it or hate it. In this one, I loved it.
Well, but I mean, in this movie itself, like, you know, how much time passes in the cave versus out of cave?
Dunno.
Like, sometimes it's we were outside for 30 minutes, so 2 hours passed, and then sometimes, we were outside for 3 seconds, so 2 weeks passed, or over. And it's like, I don't think it was
It has waves.
It's waves.
It's waves.
Beautiful. Perfect explanation. But again, so just them being in the cave would not be, scary at all. But there's all kinds of things in the cave with them. And of course, there's just, how do we get out of it? They end up like slipping and falling deeper into the cave, and then they can't get out. So you've got that, oh my God, we're trapped. And then there's also other things in here that are trying to survive and kill. And so you get a little bit of horror stuff. This is definitely, if you are very easily scared and you're one of those people who's like, oh no, I can't watch blah, blah, blah movie because it's just too scary, then I think this one is right on that line. Would be a good like Halloween one that was entertaining and you could watch it and it has a little bit of scary, but it's not that bad.
Not too scary.
If you're a hardcore like horror fan, then you're not going to find anything scary in this at all. But it's still enjoyable in a good like sci-fi.
I think one of the real strengths was the story lent itself really well to not being effects heavy, especially because they were a low budget movie.
Yes.
So they were able to save it up for the few effects they did do. They did well.
Yeah, they looked great.
And that is huge. Like, you can rely on effects if you have, $50 billion to spend on a movie, Marvel. Or you can have a solid story that's not dependent on it and do the few that you have very well. Sprinkles. It's like sprinkles on something. They're delicious, they're wonderful, but use good sprinkles.
And don't just sit there with a spoon eating and sprinkle that.
Oh. There's a time and place for everything.
But, and I actually, Because it's on Netflix and because it's so low budget, I couldn't tell you when it was made. I know it has to be.
It was recent.
It has to be fairly recent just because of the effects
I
that were in it.
believe it was like 2018-ish. It was recent.
So those are the 4 that were kind of my newer ones. Those are also the ones I really wanted to kind of give in depth and detail, and those are available on. I know for certain available on streaming platforms. Like I said, you may have to have Amazon or Netflix or Hulu or whatever, but they're available out there right now.